I bought the strongest coffee in the world. Or so this company says. This is Death Wish Coffee Co. I was walking around Walmart today and I saw this brand and I thought how cool it would be to try it. It had 8 single serve instant coffee packages in there, but the price was around $15, which is outrageous. So I was wondering like what made it so special, and on the back of the package it said in 2018 NASA formulated this kind of coffee for astronauts. The idea is, I guess, so they could stay awake in space if they're getting tired. It has 3 times the amount of caffeine a normal cup of coffee has. Just for comparison, a normal cup of coffee has around 80 to 100 milligrams of caffeine, and one of these little packets has 300 milligrams of caffeine. So this is kind of scary. They put like this, I don't know if this is serious or fake, a warning, but I do know when I drink way too much caffeine, my heart will race. So I'm not going to drink all of this, but I will be sampling it and letting you guys know how it is. For $2 a packet, it better be good. That being said, I will also be reviewing The Fall of Hyperion, which is the follow-up novel to Dan Simmons' Hyperion. I did that review about 2 weeks ago, and if you guys watched the review, you know I was very dissatisfied with the ending because so many questions were left unanswered, but I feel like our current review today will be much more fair with Dan Simmons. So, let's sip some coffee and get into a story. Mix it. Oh, this is a pretty hefty package. It's pretty meaty. So it says it contains organic instant coffee and organic green coffee extract. I like that it's organic. Honestly, it feels like they're trying. Okay. I have a cup of ice water here. I prefer iced coffees. I think that instant coffee crystals will dissolve just about the same. Oh, heck, this isn't even, this is more like a powder. Now, they did say that you can put 8 ounces of water or 8 ounces of milk, and I chose to do water because of the fact that I want to taste the coffee. The milk might mask like what's going on. It might be like horrifically bitter, or maybe it's really neutral. I don't know. I really don't know what to expect, but I will say, first impression, this smells really good. It's kind of like the smell of when you walk into a coffee house. So I'm already pretty impressed. So here goes. That is very smooth. I'll be honest, guys, I thought that this was gonna suck. I thought it was gonna be garbage, but this tastes like really, really good coffee. I'm almost sad that it has so many milligrams of caffeine because I feel like if I drink all this, my heart's gonna be racing. So I don't know. This is super delicious. And it has a little bit of, it has that nice, deep, rich coffee flavor, but it also has a little bit of nuttiness to it. So I think that this is a very quality product, honestly. This is really good. So let's get into our review. I was so upset with the last book. I did not like the way it ended, and I felt like there were a lot of people saying, okay, you're supposed to read the second book because it could be considered like one book. But my major point was, if I have to buy 2 books, it's 2 books. I should feel satisfied by the ending of the first enough. But there were so many questions left unanswered. Now, I know in my thumbnail I said that that was the weirdest book I'd ever read, but I didn't give a lot of examples in the review, and part of that was because there would be too many spoilers if I explained that. Every chapter had so many, what I felt, spoilers in there, but this is going to be a spoiler heavy video. Hyperion is an interstellar saga about a group of pilgrims, which are 7 people who are on this suicidal mission to sacrifice themselves to a giant 9-foot tall metal monster called the Shrike. They have a church dedicated to this monster that it's called the Church of the Final Atonement. There are a lot of prophecies concerning this monster and this major battle between humans and AI. And not only this, what's called the ousters. Ousters are a form of humans that have evolved to have different features than a normal human would. So they're an offshoot and almost like like becoming their own species. These pilgrims make the journey to a strange planet called Hyperion, and there is a place called the Valley of the Time Tombs. The Time Tombs look something like a sphinx and an obelisk, amongst other things. There are 6 of them, and there is strange activity there. And we would call it supernatural or spiritual, but really there's this element of just humans not being able to understand it, that it is somehow natural. The creature, the Shrike, comes out of there. It's revealed that in the first book that the Shrike creature was created by humankind or the AI. Somehow, because of humans, we have created this creature, and time is no longer an issue for it, and it is moving backwards through time to punish mankind for destroying its own planet Earth. In the future, there's about 200 interconnected worlds that we live on, and we're able to get to within minutes through a system called Farcaster, which you could think of it like a teleporter, but it's not teleporting people. It's how the author describes a Farcaster that uses some singularity to tear a hole into space-time and bring them to somewhere else. It is almost like a gift from the AI. Humans don't fully understand how the Farcasters work, but the artificial intelligences are so profound and far advanced that they're able to do things that we would never imagine. There's going to be a catastrophic war that can wipe out all of mankind. Even though we now live in between the stars and in between worlds, it can destroy us all. So the war is of that magnitude. And the war is really between the artificial intelligences, who mankind depends on for almost everything, and humans. It is a story where the AIs have now created their own, they've created their own world they live in called the core. Humans can't even access it. The core is now almost like the AIs are their own entities who live in their own world, and they govern themselves. They are officially their own thing. They are no longer enslaved by mankind. And in this book, it's revealed that the AIs got together. They wanted to create the ultimate intelligence. The AIs wanted to create an AI who was way leagues ahead of them, just as we've done for artificial intelligences. And what they essentially create is God. But when they create their God, coolest part of the book is that their AI comes back to them and only has 3 words for them. And the 3 words their AI God has for them is, there is another. So there is another God. The God of the AIs and our God, the natural God, are fighting, but they're fighting in such small quantum spaces and on dimensions that we could never comprehend. They are fighting to who's going to become God. The God of the AI is not able to get on the level of the God, our natural God. Our God is a triunal system, and that it is a threefold. It has empathy, intelligence, and the void. So the empathetic part of our God flees and goes back in time, because time is not an issue for these gods. So it goes back in time, and the created AI created the Shrike and sent it back in time to find that empathetic part of our God. And so what it does is it tortures people and impales people on this big tree, this big metal tree, unfathomably big, and impales them, and they don't die on the tree. They basically stay there for hundreds of years, an eternity or whatever, and they stay impaled and in pain. They're trying to get the empathetic part of our God to come there to face the Shrike, and so they can kill it. It sounds confusing, and it is confusing. Parts of this book are really crazy, really interesting, but at the end of the book, somehow It's still unclear to me how the Shrike, this creature, the part of the ultimate AI, is destroyed. It's fairly unclear to me, but it has something to do with the fact that love is the ultimate energy. Love is the major bind in the void that connects everything. I think it's a very sweet sentiment, but it's also quite unclear, as Dan Simmons went into a lot of explanation of everything that came before in the novel, and then we're just kind of left like whatever. It is not for a casual reader, I would say, because you do have to have a certain level of knowledge of these things, such as Judaism, Christianity, some science, to be able to keep up with the book. With that being said, this writer is absolutely brilliant. For him to have created this 30 years ago, it goes without saying that this is one of the best books I've ever read. Period. With all its flaws, I would say this is a must-read book. Hyperion, for me, is a very philosophical work. Super fascinating. Now, I know Bradley Cooper has been trying to make a Hyperion film or a Hyperion series for a while, and I would love to see it. These worlds are so interesting. They're explained in such a phenomenal way, and the characters are so rich. You don't see that a lot with novels. You don't see so many different kinds of characters with so many different perspectives and how they interact with each other. It was very organic. It felt like they had a natural flow, and I felt like they were real people. So bravo to Dan Simmons for creating one of the best literary works I've ever read. I audiobooked it, but it's still the best book I've ever audiobooked or read or any of that. So it definitely gets 5 stars. Get an Audible account, audiobook Hyperion and The Fall of Hyperion, and you will not be disappointed. Such a deep work. Phenomenal. As for our coffee, for the price point and for the fact that it can be a bit unhealthy, I'm gonna have to knock off a star, but I'm still gonna give this 4 stars. This was an excellent coffee, and honestly, I wouldn't mind drinking this if I was really that tired and I needed to wake up. This is the way to go. Thank you guys for watching my video. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. I know it's kind of annoying to hear that, but I hear it works, so this is a new channel and I'm gonna try it out. I look forward to sipping a beverage with you guys and getting into a new story soon. Take care.